listening for his steps again. The clock kept moving past the hours where love once felt like it could depend. He walked in quiet in the morning, didn't try to meet my eyes. I asked him if he needed something. He just muttered, "Please don't start tonight." He slept elsewhere while I stayed here, holding on to vows he let go first. He slept elsewhere year after year, and I kept hoping loyalty could heal the hurt. I laid his shirt across the dresser, the one he used to wear with pride. Funny how a simple piece of cotton can remind you what you lost inside. He slept elsewhere while I stayed here, trying to fix a home he wouldn't fight for. He slept elsewhere, and it's now so clear you can't save love that won't walk through the door. I've forgiven more than I should have, held my tears behind a steady face. But even strength has its ending, and even loyalty needs a resting place. He slept elsewhere while I stayed here, but tonight I'm packing what belongs to me. He slept elsewhere, but my heart's sincere. I'm choosing a future where I can finally breathe. And as I close the door behind me, I take back the love I once begged him to see. Set his supper on the table, just like any other night. He said he wasn't hungry, and that alone didn't sit right. He spoke a little shorter lately, like every word cost him too much. I tried to reach across the moment, but he barely noticed my touch. I bled quietly in ways he never saw, giving pieces of myself to keep us whole. I bled quietly while he built up walls, trying to love a man who wouldn't let it show. The dishes slowly, listened to footsteps fading down the hall. He didn't slam a single door, but somehow that silence hurt most of all. I bled quietly in ways he never saw, holding on to hopes he stopped holding to. I bled quietly, though I knew the cost, trying to save a love he'd already walked through. Maybe he thought So tonight I breathe a little deeper and keep what's left of me in my own hands. He sat down quiet at the bedside, hands folded like he'd made a plan. I asked him what was weighing on him. He said, I'm not the man you think I am. He didn't raise his voice that morning, didn't try to place the blame, just spoke in soft and broken rhythm, like he could barely say my name. He chose leaving when I chose to stay, turning down a road I couldn't follow. He chose leaving, though I begged for one more day. But his heart had packed long before tomorrow. I watched him gather small belongings, nothing more than what he truly owned. He paused a moment in the doorway, like he felt the weight of walking on. He chose leaving when I chose to stay, while I held on to memories losing color. He chose leaving in his quiet way, and I learned love can slip without a thunder. Maybe someday he'll look back slowly at the house where I kept the lights on warm. But some goodbyes don't need a warning, they just settle in and change your form. He chose leaving when I chose to stay, and it's harder than the words he failed to say. He chose leaving, and I'll be okay. But healing walks in smaller steps each day. Still I fold his memories neatly, the one soft enough for me to keep. He used to meet me in the kitchen with a smile that lit the room. But lately all his gentle gestures felt like they were leaving soon. I asked him if he still felt steady. He said, I'm trying, voice was soft, almost uncertain, like he'd forgotten how to let love grow. He wrote quietly in ways that hid from view, little cracks he never tried to name. He broke quietly, and I felt it too, even though he swore that I was not to blame. He sat down slowly at the table, staring at his wedding band. I reached across to touch his fingers, but he pulled back with a trembling hand. He broke quietly in ways that hid from view, letting go of things we built with care. He broke quietly, and I somehow knew a fading heart can't choose to stay unfair. Not every hurt comes with thunder. Some fall soft like winter rain, and the gentlest kind of ending is the one that leaves the deepest stain. He broke quietly in ways that hid from view, and I learned the truth without a fight. He broke quietly, and I withdrew, saving what was left of me that night. Now the house is still, but I'm standing strong, holding the courage he lost along the way. He came home quite late last night, hung his coat without a word. I asked him how his day had been, but his answer barely reached the room. I tried to talk the way we used to, soft and steady, taking time, but he just nodded with a tired smile, like he wasn't sure how to meet me halfway. Love won't stay when we stop trying. It slips through days we overlook. Love won't stay if we keep lying, pretending everything's the same as it once felt. Breakfast cooled beside his chair. He left early without finishing much. I watched him go down the old front steps, wondering when our hearts stop matching pace. Love won't stay we stop trying, it slips through days we overlook. Love won't stay if we keep lying, pretending everything's the same as it once felt. I still keep the picture on the dresser, the one where he held me close and proud. Some days it feels like someone else's story, but I'm not ready to let it go tonight. Love won't stay when we stop trying, and I can feel it drifting far from home. Love won't stay, but I keep fighting, hoping he remembers how we learned to hold on. Maybe tomorrow he'll sit a little longer, and maybe love can find its way back in. With stories from the week, but lately all his answers have grown quiet, soft and brief. I tried to start a conversation, asked him how his long day went. He nodded once and looked away, like each word felt too heavy to spend. He spoke less as I held on, listening for the man I used to know. He spoke less and the space grew strong between the places where our love would go. I made his supper like I always do, set his plate where he should sit. He thanked me in a quiet tone, but his smile didn't seem to fit. He spoke less as I held on, trying to understand what slipped away. He spoke less and the nights grew long, with all the things he never tried to say. I learned you can't keep waiting for a heart that's drifting out of reach. Sometimes silence tells the truth that words could never teach. He spoke less as I held on, until holding on felt lonely and unkind. He spoke less and my strength grew strong, enough to leave the quiet far behind. And as I shut the door this morning, I carried what he couldn't give in time. My voice, my hope, and a life that's finally mine. 'Cause He came home quite late last night, hung his coat without a word. I asked him how his day had been, but his answer barely reached the room. I tried to talk the way we used to, soft and steady, taking time. But he just nodded with a tired smile, like he wasn't sure how to meet me halfway. Love won't stay when we stop trying. It slips through days we overlook. Love won't stay if we keep lying, pretending everything's the same as it once felt. Breakfast cooled beside his chair. He left early without finishing much. I watched him go down the old front steps, wondering when our hearts stop matching pace. Love won't stay when we stop trying. It slips through days we overlook. Love won't stay if we keep lying, pretending everything's the same as it once felt. I still keep the picture on the dresser, the one where he held me close and proud. Some days it feels like someone else's story, but I'm not ready to let it go tonight. Love won't stay when we stop trying, and I can feel it drifting far from home. Love won't stay.